Your great-grandmother didn't know her own age, and that was the least of her problems. The real clock was her empty stomach. You wake at 3 in the morning, heart hammering, not knowing why. Something is wrong. But there's nothing to check. No phone, no screen, no glowing numbers, just darkness. Your body is the clock. Your empty stomach is the alarm. For ancient humans, time wasn't a number. It was a feeling. Hunger told you when to hunt. Thirst told you when to find water. Sleep told you when the world turned safe again. But this internal clock had a fatal flaw. It lied. The sun, moon, and stars kept a stricter schedule than your body ever could. Misread them, and you missed the salmon run. You picked the wrong week for the harvest. You watched your children go hungry through the dead months that followed. One missed signal, one season. That was the difference between surviving and dying. Here's the reality. Every human who lived before writing carried the same fragile body clock, before calendars, before agriculture. They all had it inside them. You plant by the sun. You watch it rise a little further north each morning. When it stops, you plant. That pause is the solstice. But the sun does not stop cleanly. It lingers, as if hesitating. Days pass where nothing seems to change. For 3 or 4 days, dawn looks identical. Now imagine you are wrong. Not dramatically wrong, just 1 day off. You tear the soil open too early. But timing is everything. A late frost comes. The seeds rot in the dark. That single error is not a mistake. It is an equation. One wrong morning, multiplied by months of labor, equals an empty granary before winter ends. Imagine that arithmetic. The sky lies. It pretends to be a perfect clock, but it wobbles. The earth itself tilts and sways like a spinning top losing speed. Now watch it closely. A full day of drift can go unnoticed for generations. Then it matters, once, fatally. So, the sky was never the answer. It was only a better guess than the stomach. So, you carve a notch in the dirt. Every sunrise, another line. It works until clouds roll in for a week and you lose count entirely. You think you can count on the moon. 13 full moons in a year? But some years, there are 12. Some years, 14. An extra moon means an extra month. Get that wrong, and you harvest in the rain. So, you build a stone circle. But how do you know when to start? The way sunlight falls between 2 monoliths tells you the solstice is coming. It is accurate to within a day. That sounds impressive. A single overcast morning ruins it. By the time the sun reappears, you have missed the marker. Picture that gap stretching into weeks. You are guessing again? Somewhere in Egypt, they read the sky differently. The star Sirius rises just before dawn each summer. Its first appearance, right before the sun, matches the Nile's flood, exactly. This is the moment their entire calendar pivots on. You wake in the dark, no alarm, no clock. Yet your body knows, it always knew. This is the circadian rhythm, your internal metronome, synced to the sun. Every cell in you listens to light. They are ticking patiently in your bloodstream. 1 day of light raises your temperature. Night pulls it back down. Your ancestors felt this shift without ever naming it. Their bodies were tide tables, reading the hours the sun never bothered to print. But the clock went deeper than a single day. Seasons changed your very chemistry. The shorter the daylight, the heavier your sleep. The darker the month, the quieter your heart. It was a hormonal weather system tuned to the planet's tilt. Hunger peaked in winter. Fertility bloomed in spring. You didn't need a priest to tell you the year was turning. Your own flesh was the calendar. Could you feel it? The temperature drop. The length of your shadow. That subtle drag in your bones when the light fades. This is the ancient science before science. So, the body gave them a clock. But the body couldn't plan next month. It could feel hunger but not forecast it. Imagine staring up at a sky that decides when you eat. Look at what they built from that terror. They watched the moon. It swelled, it vanished, it returned. 29.5 days. You can count that on your fingers. But counting is not the same as knowing. Then came the hard part, the sun. Stone circles sprouted across the landscape, not decoration, survival hardware. The moment a shadow touched a carved notch, they knew, planting season. No margin for guesswork. Here is a fact that lands like a dull blade. The lunar year runs 11 days short of the solar year. Follow the moon alone, and within 3 years, your calendar drifts a full month, Imagine that drift. You plant in what feels like spring. Winter comes for your harvest, so they corrected. They stacked lunar cycles onto solar turning points. It was messy, improvised, and utterly brilliant. You think the clock measures time. It doesn't. It measures you. Your hours are arithmetic. Theirs were appetite. The sun wasn't a dial. It was a promise of warmth or a threat of cold. The moon wasn't a phase. It was a tide pulling at your tribe's survival. We traded that raw pulse for precision. Did we gain? You glance at a screen. It tells you 31-4. But your body doesn't feel 31-4. It feels tired, or hungry, or restless. Ancient time didn't tell you what to do. It told you what was happening to you. Their calendar was a mirror, not a machine. It reflected the truth we still hide from. You are a creature of this earth. You end. Your deadline isn't on a wall. It's in your cells. Every cell in you replaces itself on a cycle. That cycle doesn't know your watch exists. But this is only one piece of a much bigger story. The next mystery is already waiting on your screen. Tap it and subscribe to Dawn Theory to keep uncovering how we became human.